What's up, guys? We are looking at the state of play that happened February 12th, and I don't know about you guys, but I always find state of plays like pretty boring. You know, I know it's maybe I should say like, oh, it's just not for me, and it isn't for me. You know, I don't really like my realism, but this time there was like a few standouts, a few that I was like, maybe. And we're gonna go through some of it, starting with Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I don't know about you guys, but I have never played a Sonic Racing game before. I hear they're good. I've just always been a Mario Kart girl or a Mod Nation Racer kind of lady. And Sonic Cross Worlds looks good. The only difference I see are some maybe different power-ups and like choosing what world makes you go faster or slower. Or I don't know if like everyone has to go through the same world. Because I think it'd be cool if they went through like different worlds. But listen, the tracks look good, the power-ups look good, cars look good, changing into like airplanes or boats and stuff. Like, it looks good. I have no complaints. Probably not something I'd pick up, but it looks good. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is coming soon. We don't have a date yet. Digimon Storytime Stranger. Okay, so I was like in the YouTube chat while this was going on, and you know, we see Bandai, right? And like, well, first it shows all this like cool stuff, this annihilation, you know, shit's going down, and then it says Bandai Namco Entertainment represents. And the chat was like, Persona. I was like, do we not? It said Bandai Namco, guys. You know, and I get it. We see like Shibuya, or it looks like a very like dense Japanese city. So we just think Shibuya, we think Tokyo, right? And thus we think Persona, but I was like, guys, it's not Persona. And then lo and behold, it's Digimon, and dog, the chats were like all L. And I'm like, man, if this was Persona, you guys would think this was so cool. So I don't know. I just think that's interesting that when something looks good, but then it turns out to like not be what you wanted, it's suddenly bad. I just thought that was an interesting thing. Anyways, it looks good. I don't think I've ever played a Digimon game. Like, the only Digimon game I can remember is like the Tomogachis, you know? It was like the things they used to summon Digimon back in the day, like a digital thingy. Well, obviously, because it's Digimon. Digital. But, yeah, one of those things. And that's as far as I remember. I mean, I definitely watched the show. I'm definitely like a fan of Digimon. I'm just not that deep in the sauce anymore. It looks fun. I thought it really looked good. Will I have time to play it? The world will never know. But it looks spectacular. I love like the underwater. I love seeing, don't ask me what these Digimon's name. I know Agumon. And Vmon. Vmon was my guy. And Gatomon. Look at me naming stuff. I remember Wormmon. I deliberately hated Wormmon because Ken didn't like Wormmon, and I had the biggest crush on Ken, so obviously. Ken don't like Wormmon. Neither do I. So anyway, Digimon Storytime Stranger comes out in 2025. So far, the state of play started off really strong. I was like, okay, I'm not hating it. You know, so far nothing that I'd probably get, admittedly, but like, you know me, I like my weeb stuff, and I've been seeing weeb stuff. Sonic, and now Digimon, so what's next? Lost Soul Aside. So I didn't realize at the beginning that this was the game that like one guy was working on. He just really loved Final Fantasy and was like, I'm gonna do it better. You know, whatever 15 was, I'm gonna do it better. I believe Sony approached him in like 2022, 2023 to get this game like really going. And honestly, I think it looks really good. I know it's one of those what people are calling character action games. I think that's dumb. I just call it an action RPG, but it's fine, whatever. I think it looks really good. It's definitely giving Final Fantasy. It's giving like Souls meets Final Fantasy is what people are saying, but honestly, like, I see it. You know, here's my thing. You know what this like, you know, itch this scratches for me? Because I don't really care for realism. But once you give like realism with like the anime aesthetic, you know, like the pretty boys, you know how Final Fantasy looks. And I'm not a Souls person personally. I think it looks cool. Like some of the monsters in the Souls games, I'm like, whoa, this looks so badass. Still not for me. And you know what? I am kind of a fan of like the anime aesthetic. Like realism meets that anime, you know, like think Final Fantasy VII, right? It's giving me that. Final Fantasy VII Remake, to be specific. And some people may say like, that's kind of weird. You know, you don't like realism, but now that has anime. Listen, everyone has an aesthetic they like, and this is mine. You know what else I also like about this game? It shows like the main character going through various worlds, and the worlds aren't, remember that one game that was like, I'll travel to never before seen lands, realms of fire, earth, wind, water, and we were just the internet was like, never before seen, heard, anything, you know, whereas like this, just in an imaginative space, you know, of various kind of, it doesn't follow the like elementals, you know, and I thought that was a really cool touch, something like really interesting. It looks like just like dimension hopping and just, yeah, I don't know, the imagination seems greater here. I wonder the scope of this game, because like the spaces look very big, like they're impressive like scale wise, but empty. So I hope there is stuff to do in between, and I understand they have like big like clearings for like boss fights and stuff, and that's cool. But I am curious to see this game's like pathing, for lack of better words. Boss fights look sick nasty. The traveling, oh my god. The traveling, the way of movement looks so clean. I love kind of like the phasing, teleportation. When this guy's like walking on his, I'm assuming like dragon companion thing. Sometimes it turns into wings. Sometimes he's like running on it into like the spiral thing that looks like really fucking cool. This looks awesome. Like I love it. The boss fights look like powerful. They're giving me strong Kingdom Hearts vibes, like the particle effects and all that stuff, which makes me nervous because Kingdom Hearts bosses like beat my ass. They kick my ass, but it's okay. I will persevere. I think my biggest like wah about the game is the main character looks really lame. It's giving Final Fantasy 15. I don't know, trench coat, shirt, pants, like all black. His hair, the only difference is it has like kind of like a ponytail. Whatever, it's fine. I'm still gonna play it. But really, it looks fantastic, and we got a release date of May 30th, 2025, so like 15 days after my birthday. That last bit of information was very important to know. So then it's like wrestling, Borderlands, not gonna lie, don't care. I've talked about this game before, but Split Fiction from the makers of It Takes Two, and it looks great. I love the idea, just two authors trying to get their book published. But I think this guy like takes their ideas and like throws the authors in their own books to see if they could survive, or some shit like that. But point is, it's just two people who don't get along. One person is sci-fi, one person is fantasy, and they have to go through each other's novels and survive and get out, you know, while working together despite like starting off as enemies, you know? I love that idea. I feel like in a weird way, I can see like me and my best friend in this, because like she likes sci-fi, she also likes fantasy, and I think she likes fantasy more. Don't quote me on that, but I know I like fantasy. She at least likes sci-fi, so I could just see us just getting into like bickering spat over like which stories are better. I don't know, it's fun, you know. I see the vision, it looks fun, it looks exciting. I love that each world has like a new gimmick, quote unquote. Still excited for it, still want to play it. This is actually like on my list of games to play, and be proud of me because it's something different. It's not a JRPG. And Split Fiction is coming out pretty soon, March 6th, 2025. And then State of Play goes into the segment where I really drop off, where it just felt like horror game after horror game after horror game, and I'm like, that ain't me. They had like Five Nights at Freddy's, they had some other stuff, and then they had Midnight Walk, which actually looks really cool. I love like horror claymation. It definitely gave Little Nightmares energy. Now, admittedly, I'd probably never play Midnight Walk, but I would watch my friend play it, like under the covers and stuff, like, oh my god, you know? But I do like claymation and horror. I don't know why, it just attracts me, it just looks cool. Dare I say, I like the Tim Burton aesthetic. And it's a simple premise, you're just returning fire to the world. I'm like, okay, we like this. I can't play it, but cute. Like, to be fair, I could barely watch the trailer, because some of the parts were like a little freaky. I was like, I don't know, But if you are interested, the Midnight Walk releases May 8th. That is 7 days before my birthday. Okay, another fun game that I'm kind of interested in, that to me, I'm like, oh my god, palate cleanser game, is Darwin's Paradox. I love the idea that you're just a little octopus and you're just trying to return to the ocean. There's various puzzles, like sneaking around, camouflaging, using your ink to blacken the light. It just looks fun, it looks silly, and you know, I find myself really enjoying games where you're not playing as a human, or like humanoid, where you're just like an octopus, or I remember Stray, where you're just a cat. I think that opens up for a lot of like interesting exploration, movement, situations, you know what I'm saying? So I just think the funkiness of playing something that isn't human or humanoid is really fun. Darwin's Paradox doesn't have a release date yet, we just know coming soon in 2025. Then we got Warriors Abyss, which is like a roguelite of the Warriors series. I don't really care. To me, I saw Vampire Survivors when I saw that trailer, so I was like, I'm good, I got Vampire Survivors. Lies of P is another game I actually am interested in, which is where's the time to play it? Like, I did not know like P stood for Pinocchio. I was like, whoa. Like, that's I think what got my interest, and I was like a dark spin on Pinocchio on a first of all, any dark spin on any kind of fairy tale is just like instantly like, ooh la la, what's happening here? For me, it's just one of those cases of like so many games, not enough time to play them. But Lies of P, I think it's DLC, looks really great. Dreams of Another, I love the idea behind, like shooting to create things than destroy things. I guess in this trailer you are kind of destroying things to like make room for other things to kind of get the full picture, and it seems to be like a PTSD story, you know, like a war hero, and his journey with that is the vibe I'm getting, which I actually like. I think this is a creative way to tell that story. Dreams of Another comes out in 2025, and this is the last game that mattered to me. It's right up there with Lost Soulside, is Tides of Annihilation. It looks great. Again, we do have that like Souls energy, and it doesn't necessarily have that anime aesthetic going on for it, so that's a little shocking to me, but I'm still here for it. I still like it. The trailer looks great, but I also found an extended gameplay walkthrough from IGN, and it just really sold me. I love the combat here. It looks like she summons elemental knights, because you can see her using ice, you can see her using like earth, it looks like wind. It looks really nice, really clean. You get a taste of puzzle solving. Like, I actually kind of want to analyze this whole piece that IGN put out for a video, but to keep things brief, there seems to be like scarlet waters, and you can't touch those, but we saw some puzzle solving here where like knights don't fear the scarlet waters, and she summons a knight to like hit some switch that's in the water, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm also finding I'm a really big fan of shifting dimensions, shifting worlds. The characters are looking really lovely, and so far it seems to be all ladies, which, you know, I'm not complaining. My biggest thing is if the characters look good, we're good. But yeah, it does seem to be a character action game. We have fast-paced fights, very reminiscent of Kingdom Hearts, which is also giving me some goosebumps, because again, Kingdom Hearts bosses just really scare me. We seem to have some cinematic finishers and grandiose boss fights. Another game I'm looking forward to. Tides of Annihilation does not have a release date or a release date window, so we gotta keep an eye on it, but that's fine because there's plenty of games. I don't know about you guys, but your girl has a backlog. So, what did you guys think of the state of play? For me personally, I hate to say it, but state of plays to me are always snooze fest. They just are. And while there is the two standout games, Tides of Annihilation and Lost Soulside, and a few others that I enjoyed, like Darwin's Paradox, Split Fiction, it's just one of those things where I could have went to sleep and then just looked up each individual trailer that interests me. You know what I'm saying? Versus like sitting there for, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes, however long it was. But you know, I say this every time, and yet I tune in almost every time. There was like one or two state of plays where I deadass just slept through. And you know what? I missed nothing. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Did you enjoy this state of play? Did you not? Like, what one or two games did you like? Or did you like the whole thing? Were you all about it? What's up? What's good? Thank you so much for watching. And if you like what I do here, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to join the Patreon, where you get access to the Discord and get to vote on what videos I do next. Until next time, love your faces, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!